To really put the power of these accounts into real numbers and perspective, if you were to hold $15,000 in a normal bank account like Chase or Bank of America, you'd earn about $1.50 by the end of the year. With this account, you'd earn over $623. If you have any substantial amount of money in your savings account, this video's for you. Your current bank is probably giving you a whopping 0.01%, or if you're lucky, all the way up to 0.15% on your money to hold that in their savings account. At 0.01%, you could have $10,000 sitting there, and the interest you earn is $1. The accounts that I'm going to talk about today give out no less than 4%, not 0.4%, not 0.04%, 4%, meaning 400 times more than what you're probably getting at your bank account. And this is just as safe, just as secure, and just as guaranteed as the bank account that you have now. At $10,000 in one of the accounts that I'm going to talk about today, you'll see how you can easily be earning $400 to $500, totally free and passive without you doing anything or taking on any risk. So, do you want $1 or do you want $500? I thought so. And I'm not going to convince you that actually investing that money might be your best option, because if you have that money in a savings account now, you probably have some apprehension to investing, or you think that it might be a little too complicated and don't understand it. And so if that's the case, then I do agree that that's where the money should be, in a safe savings account. But that's also why I made this channel, and it's called Investing Simplified, so that I can help make it not so complicated for you. But for today, we're just gonna stick with a very safe, very guaranteed savings account, but one with superpowers. I'm gonna go over my top 5 high yield savings accounts for 2023, and then by the end, I'm going to explain to you how I'm using this account and how you're gonna get the most out of it depending on what your goals are. If you're like me when I started out, when I saw the words high yield savings account, I just got kind of confused and just thought that wasn't for me because I wasn't looking for something complicated. All that's meant by this name is that it's saying that when you put your money here, they're willing to give you more interest just for holding your money in this account. So this isn't going into some high risk investing account or something that you could ever lose your money. It's just a different type of bank account. High yield savings accounts are typically provided through online only banks or credit unions. These institutions have lower operating costs than traditional brick and mortar banks and can use their savings to offer higher rates. This is just literally the same type of account that you already have, a savings account at a bank. It's just that they have less costs and probably employees and things like that, so they get to give you that savings. It's a win-win for both sides. Some of these types of accounts do have stipulations and caveats, so you do want to look a little bit deeper into them, but I went ahead and started the research off for you, and these 5 all are good, solid accounts that I would definitely recommend and that I like, but I am going to be very upfront and tell you the pros and cons for each one so you can make a good decision. The first one on my list is from Capital One. This is the Capital One 360 savings account, and I wanted to list this one first because it's actually the one that I use personally and the one that I've been using for quite some time, and I absolutely love it. I'm not getting paid or sponsored by Capital One, but Capital One, if you're listening, hit up your boy. But seriously, this savings account could not have been easier for me to start or for me to use. It's so user-friendly, the app is amazing, and transferring money in and out has been a breeze. This one has a 4.3% interest rate. It has no monthly fees, no account minimum to get started. It is FDIC insured, which is very important to make sure to look for when shopping around. You can open this account very easily online, and their app is top-notch, super simple, and user-friendly. Sometimes the issue with high-yield savings account is that you do have to provide a certain minimum, or you have to hold a certain amount within the bank. And the worst ones, the ones that I like to avoid, are ones where they actually tie up your money for a period of time. It could be a couple months, it could even be a year or two. And so for me, I really want this account to be almost exactly, if not exactly, what you are doing now with your savings account. If you wanted to pull money out of that savings account right now at your current bank, you could totally do that today. With this Capital One high yield savings account, if I want to transfer money from that account to a different account, usually takes about 5 days. The next account is from CIT, C-I-T Bank. CIT has consistently been one of the top high yield savings accounts out there and provides a crazy high rate of almost 5%. Right off the bat though, I did want to point something out and show you what to look for that might be a negative or at least something for you to keep in mind. As I stated before, minimums are very important. For you to get that 4.95% interest rate, you need to keep a balance of at least $5,000. If your balance goes below $5,000, your interest rate goes from that amazing 4.95% to a very lackluster 0.25%. That's quite the dip. So if you're someone who has $5,000 or more and you just want to find a place that you want to safely be able to put that money and make as much money as possible with that interest rate, and you know you're not going to be using any of that money for a while, this might be the account for you. If you plan to use that money here and there and it might dip below $5,000 every once in a while, then you might want to choose a different option. CIT does have a very solid mobile app and there are no monthly service fees. It is FDIC insured up to that $250,000, which will give you peace of mind. Just like that previous one, and actually all of these, it's super easy to open online and you can do that from the comfort of your home. The third account on this list is one that's very interesting and it actually offers a bunch of different products. It's actually one that I've liked as a company for quite some time, and especially as one to invest in, because last year they got absolutely crushed, and so their stock value territory has been super valuable. This year alone, it's up almost 110%. But this isn't an investing video. This is a savings video, so I digress. But if you happen to possibly care about making even more money in a very safe form, go ahead and check out some of my videos on either the S&P 500 or my super simple 3 ETF portfolio that would absolutely change your life financially. I'll link to a couple down in my description below, and I'll even queue one up for you at the end of this video so that you can have a really solid place for you to start and at least get some information. If you've always thought investing was complicated, this video is going to simplify everything for you. Okay, anyways, this third account is from a company called SoFi. The pros are that it has a very solid 4.4% APY, and it is FDIC insured and with a reputable company that offers a lot of products and services, so you can have many different types of accounts with them to make everything much easier and in the same place, such as student loans and other loans, along with investing and insurance. The big con that I do see here is that you're going to have to set up direct deposit in order to get that 4.4% interest rate. Without direct deposit, you're only able to earn 1.2% APY. I really do like this company overall and this product, but if you already have a direct deposit going into a different bank account, and that might be a little bit of a hassle switching over, then that might just be something to consider when considering which one of these you want to go with. This next one is a household brand and a name that you've probably seen before and you can easily recognize, which is why I wanted to go with this one on this video. If you're a regular subscriber on this channel, you know that I'm all about safety, keeping things simple, and sustainable. I'm never looking for the absolute highest yield with your investment because they usually come with some substantial risk or red flags. Same thing can be said of these types of accounts, so I try to look for reputable companies with good history. This one comes from Discover, which has been around for quite some time. The annual percentage yield is 4.15%, which is amazing, but obviously not as high as some of the other ones. There's no monthly fee, there's no minimum opening deposit. They're also offering a bonus of up to $200 if you deposit $25,000 in your first month. To really put the power of these accounts into real numbers and perspective, if you were to hold $15,000 in a normal bank account like Chase or Bank of America, you'd earn about $1.50 by the end of the year. With this account, you'd earn over $623. You could either keep that money in your savings account and keep growing that, or you could take that extra $50 or $60 out every month and pay your phone bill. Discover is a great company with a lot of history, so especially for those of you that are very risk averse, this might be the one to consider, especially if safety is your #1 priority. This next account is definitely going to be one of the highest APYs that you're going to find, but it's probably one that you've never heard about. And after explaining this one, I'm going to explain exactly how I use my high yield savings account and how you can really supercharge your finances. This one's called Bread Saving, and it's one of the highest reviewed high yield savings accounts that I found from multiple sources. It has a 4.9% APY. You do need at least $100 to get started, but it is FDIC insured. The interest is accrued and compounded daily, and there's no hidden fees. So now for me, I do have a regular savings account with that super terrible interest rate, And then I also have my high yield savings account. In my regular savings account, I keep a very low amount of cash relative to the rest of my portfolio, but it's something where I just keep it there, I don't touch it, and it's for absolute emergencies. Something where if I needed the cash tomorrow, it's right there and I know I can take it out and I'm just not gonna touch it unless I need it. For anything more than that I'm saving for longer than 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever, that's going into the high yield savings account. Also for me personally, since I own a couple businesses, I do put the amount of money that I'm supposed to use towards taxes into that high yield savings account. So instead of paying $10,000 or $20,000 in taxes every quarter, I just pay all of that at the end of the year, but I let that money sit in my high yield savings account, accrue interest, and then I get to keep all of that interest, but then I pay my tax money later on. So if you're saving up for something like a house or a big purchase like a car or something like that, this might be a good idea for you to put it in there since you know you're not going to be pulling from it very often. This is also a fantastic place for your emergency savings. Hopefully you have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses set aside, and if you don't, start building that up. I would definitely put that into the high yield savings account because the whole point of the emergency savings is to not touch it. And so if it can just sit there for years on end, you'll be making that interest for quite some time. Getting your high yield savings account all set up and getting going is your first step. But that next step to really supercharge your finances and get you to a place of financial freedom is going to be to learn how to invest and keep it super simple. In this video here, I go over 3 ETFs, just 3 ETFs that you need forever. You can just buy and hold and set it and forget it, and you don't even have to worry about it. Watch this video now, and as always, I'm here for any questions that you have. Leave them down in the comment section. Thanks for watching.